Up there. Anybody else want any more of this heat?
It's just so Tuesday, listen to Brian online. When you gonna come online? Let me know when. Come this week? What did you tell me? I leave town Friday. When you back? Friday's tomorrow, right? No, that's right.
It's just too unprofessional for how big it is.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that's why I always think, what's that? What am I? I'll call next week. And then there are people walking in and out of the podcast somehow. Like, they get interrupted by a guy.
Yeah.
We don't even get interrupted.
Yeah.
There's somebody else who lives here. You don't see us going, hey, what's up? And this huge podcast, they can't, Howie's blowing. He's like, what are you guys talking about? You're stupid. He's like, all right. Is this over with?
So this one is posted by El Pochi Boy. It's called This How We Guys Made It From Material Not Giving a Fuck. It just begins with two of them. 1,000 word letters called Currently Over Here. Like a hot knife through butter. Should have been the community and network. It's from this man. So I think that's a problem. You know what? I love that. People wear sweatpants. You wear sweatpants. These are nice.
It's making me a little angry since I said yes.
Why do you want walls around your nuts? Why not? What should I be? Black things? It's not the color. You know what? Wait, where did you see? He's wearing a jumpsuit, which is very Dave Chappelle. It's not a jumpsuit. His outfit's actually pretty good. I'm not wearing on the fan. No, it actually looks cool. So, Jack, go chase your hands. Tell these aren't attached. I thought they were. Sorry, we were in the room. So dark. My bad. I didn't know you were giving me the one. So this is not attached. Go my undershirt and my underpants are attached. Push yourself. It's not like a onesie. See a legend up here on the stage. We got Jimmy up here. I appreciate you pulling up. Gang, you know, it's like we're about to close her down. But I want to say hello. And I like your PFP, sir. How are you? I'm good, bro. Yeah, sorry I jumped in late, man. I saw everybody in here. I was like, man, I gotta come support the space. And
Okay. Monsters. Let me talk, bitch. Yo, dog, how about you let me talk? You're the biggest celebrity in the world here. It's like having Elvis in your space. Elvis! Come on, you little bitch. Let me in. Let me talk. Baby. Baby, 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 baby. Baby, 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 baby. Come on, you little bitch. Gordon Gartrell. Gordon Gartrell. What you know about Gordon Gartrell? Pay me. And when I leave, y'all, and when I leave, come together like butt cheeks. And when I leave, come together like butt cheeks. And when I leave, come together like butt cheeks. Look at this toe jam. Toe jam football. And when I leave, come together like butt cheeks. Grits and gravy. And when I leave, come together like butt cheeks. Oh, how about referencing easy the shit? Oh, that is brilliant. And when I leave, come together like butt cheeks. And when I leave, come together like butt cheeks. Grits and gravy. World Series of Dice. World Series Dice. World Series of Dice. And when I leave, come together like butt cheeks. And when I leave,
Why are we here? Why we? Not this time, Phil. Everyone knows we're here for one reason and one reason only. We're here for the 8th annual World.
Dumb Heartseat needs a space.
Series. Kansas City, Missouri, legendary shooter Kansas City, Missouri. Flying in from the Far East is Scott Hughes, one of these premier ice players in the Eastern Conference. He's played for Phillies for games.
Thank you for the opportunity. Do you mind if I share my project with you? And I will. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Rabbi Rothschild. If you don't know who I am, you will. I stream my life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for world peace. I've been doing so for more than 4 years since the pandemic. We've seen the death of a queen, the birth of AI, the coronation of a king, and everything in between. This is the biggest event in global history. This is a real life Truman Show, a real life Big Brother. This is a timeline and a time capsule of human achievement. In the 1990s, Bill Gates coined the phrase content is king, and I'm making it true today. I'm king of the internet. In 2018, The Economist magazine stated that data had overtaken petroleum as Earth's number one resource, and I have more data archived on the internet than anyone ever. And with that data, I'm becoming more and more influential. And eventually, I'm going viral. And when I do, I want to make you, your friends, your family, all independently wealthy if you're not already. I want to ensure that you have generational wealth if you don't already. And I want you to be able to start charities and philanthropic organizations of your own. I'm unlike any influencer that you'll ever meet. I'm not live on one stream, nor live on two streams. I'm live simultaneously on more than 20 YouTube streams. You can watch my life in 360 degrees. I even have a ceiling camera. If you want to see those cameras, go to my pinned profile post. You can see a link to my YouTube. You can also see a link to my link tree. I dare you to look at my link tree. Nobody's going to dare you to look at that link tree, but I do because I have so much social media. I have more content than you've ever seen. It would take you years to digest all of my content. You can also find a link to my Discord there, which is discord.me/rabbi. In addition to making you rich and streaming my life for world peace, I'm an advocate for ending world hunger through the use of technology such as agricultural drones, floating greenhouses, saltwater greenhouses, hydroponics, vertical farming, cloud seeding. I want to help end world thirst. I'm sponsored by a cryptocurrency that's worth about $100 million. And one of the things that we do is we build wells and water towers in developing nations such as Nigeria for the benefit of the less fortunate. I'm an advocate for the LifeStraw program and most importantly, desalination technology, where we pump Earth's seawater onto land to make it drinkable. If you are a crypto guru, if you are a social media manager, if you're a reply guy, if you're a shiller, you're a rakeback, join my Discord. All the advice that I give for is free. I want to be a mentor, a coach, a friend, all for the cost of strategies that we utilize. But most importantly, I want you to know that I'm here to support you both personally and professionally. I'm here to have an optimistic view of the future. I'm here to be a positive person in your life. And most importantly, I want to give people hope. And with that, I sincerely want to thank you for the opportunity to share.
Are you really a rabbi? Rabbi Rothschild?
I am.
Awesome. Where are you from? Or
I'm from the United States, based out of California, but I travel a lot.
right on that? Yeah, those are helpful to show. There's a lot of things going on. Desalinization is a pretty interesting process. I think the world is going to have to do a lot more of that in the future here. And I think nuclear power is the only way to make it really doable in a realistic way because of the energy it takes for the desalinization process.
Fire, you know what's up, but absolutely, I'm a major advocate of nuclear energy, both nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. I feel like that's the future. It's essentially a modern scientific miracle that we aren't utilizing enough.
Yeah, 100%. My father was radiation and stuff like that. A little bit about it. I think it's interesting. It's one of the cleanest forms of power we have. That's more powerful than solar power. And I think there should be multiple different types of power. That honestly is we should be relying on just one, but the more we can move towards nuclear power, for stacking the
I'm in agreement with you. The earth is two-thirds water, and the fact that people suffer from a lack of water, people suffer from drought, crops fail due to drought, to me is a ridiculous premise in 2025 when this type of technology exists and we have nuclear energy to be able to power it. We need leaders who are willing to educate the masses on these types of technological miracles, and hopefully we can overcome the challenges and be able to eliminate anybody's death due to uh, drought or thirst in the future.
You know, you know, there's a Fukushima thing, which was kind of a big deal, but it wasn't as big of a deal as they maybe made out to be. People were kind of afraid of nuclear power. I think, you know, building fault lines or a place that's could be super dangerous. These new nuclear power plants, these smaller ones that they're doing now are pretty interesting. They can, if you need to add power to it, you can add another plant to the same area, and then it kind of stack them, so to speak. The AI is definitely going to require it. So it seems like the way we have to.
I'm in agreement with you. I'm also an advocate for building nuclear power in more stable locations. There's nothing that says that you can't build nuclear power in Nebraska or North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, places that aren't on seismic lines, and be able to essentially power the grid from stable positionings and then just use underground power lines to be able to provide the necessary power anywhere you need in the United States or even the world. No one says that these things have to be built on the San Andreas Fault or fault lines or in the Ring of Fire. It seems like that's where we're building them, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. We could certainly put these power plants in more stable areas of the United States and the world for that matter to preserve the plant itself and make nuclear fallout less of a possibility. What is amazing to me about nuclear power, though, and if you're not aware, is how safe it is. It's been around for over 80 years, and in 80 years, fewer than 50 people have ever died due to direct nuclear disasters. That would be at Chernobyl, it's about 42. You can look this up on Wikipedia. Fukushima had two, and 3 Mile Island had zero. Now, there's the argument to be made, well, what about the radiation in the years afterward and such? That I'm not counting. That is really difficult to that is really difficult to surmise. Who's to say that the carcinogens that are put out by coal aren't doing more damage in the long term than what perhaps nuclear fallout happened in those disasters? But that's less than one human death per year. And that is an amazing statistic. That's an amazingly safe technology in comparison to the amount of people who just die in the coal industry from mining every year. It's hundreds and it gets into thousands when you look globally. It's a terrible, terrible tragedy when we have such a more efficient, safer way of being able to power, and it's essentially limitless. It's a really exciting future, and I really hope that people begin to re allow nuclear power into their lives, into their homes, and not automatically feel that it's an unsafe alternative to fossil fuels.
Yeah, as long as they do a good job with securing the spent uranium after they're done. We have the mountain facility in Nevada, which is a place that they dug into the mountain. Looks like those earthworms. I'm not sure what they are, but big tunnels that are all reinforced. They drop the containers that the spent uranium goes in before they go in those tunnels, like off of airplanes and all kinds of stuff to try to break them on purpose. And they just make these containers just super. There's the digs that the uranium goes in, they call it, and there's a container on the digs go in on top of that. So, as long as they do a good job of securing them and putting some of these sites that already exist. some of these protesters that, nuclear is scary to people, and they think it's atomic bombs, and they just don't have the facts on things, and they don't really get that they're causing more harm by protesting and more damage done to the earth with hydrocarbons and all these other things than if they were to just get out of the way of nuclear energy.
Agreed. There's major overreaction, in my opinion, on nuclear waste. If you don't know, usually the nuclear waste is essentially inert within a year of no longer powering the plant. It is put in a swimming pool and essentially allowed to de energize. And then it is put in what are called uh, like concrete coffins filled with feet of concrete to protect them and preserve them, and then dug into a mountain or perhaps underground. And no one says that these have to be put near urban places. I mean, Yucca Mountain's not that far from Las Vegas. No one says that you can't put this in desolate areas of Montana or South Dakota or even in Alaska. It's not necessarily going to do any more damage than it would in some of these more populated areas. In fact, in likelihood, it's far less damage. And these are alternatives that we really should be exploring. We're not. There's a lot of overreaction. There's not a lot of education on nuclear power. People just automatically start thinking that if you have nuclear power, you're going to start turning into some kind of mutant, and that really is just a lot of propaganda. And if we know, a lot of this propaganda is put out by some of these fossil fuel companies and has been for the last 80 years to scare people. But nuclear power runs more than half of all of France's energy. It's used in many Western countries much more actively than it is in the United States. It's in China. China has overtaken the United States for not only the amount of nuclear plants, but also the amount of nuclear plants that are being built. And they have been able to do it safely to be able to power the energy needs of over a billion people. There's no need for the United States to be creating perhaps some of these outdated power systems and in a diesel engine to continue to run, especially in areas where it can get cold and the turbine can freeze. And that engine is run on diesel fuel. That is incredibly inefficient. Nuclear energy is clean, it's safe, and frankly, in the big scheme of things, and in the long term, it's the future.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So I think you mentioned some stuff about like water climate and whatnot. So with your project, do you have a lot of stuff that's like America focused as well? Because some shit's fucked up around here, and I'm just more curious than that. Which I mean, I'm all about helping other countries and stuff. There's some people, way worse situations than just here. But we got lots of things and stuff. Our drinking supply is not exactly healthy, in its own way. And I was just curious about any of your plans for your project to do some local work.
Yeah, most certainly. I feel it's important to start at home with any project. And I am just one individual, but I've done my best to stream in downtown Los Angeles in a place known as Skid Row. It's one of the most infamous homeless encampments in the United States, and to bring light on what's going on there and ways that perhaps people might be able to help. It's a big lift. I think there's a lot of corruption, especially in the homeless industry, which is really what it is. There's a major gap. There, Exactly. There's a major gap between the funding and the actually getting those funds to the people. And there are so many not for profits and six-figure jobs that are preserved because of this funding. And it's really unfortunate. At least in California, we have had tax increase after tax increase, yet more and more homeless. It's very sad. So what I'm an advocate of is not just the tiny home movement, because I don't want to necessarily put people in a small cramped area, but more the container home movement. So if you're familiar with this, it's essentially the idea that at least here in California, we have many containers these that you would see on a cargo ship. You can take those and retrofit them to put air conditioning in there, have solar panels on the roof, ensure that inside they're basically like a mobile home. They're very comfortable, and you put them in communities in the desert where there isn't necessarily the lack of real estate to be able for people to be able to spread out. They get a yard, they get an opportunity to be able to live independently, and they're powered by the sun. And also, we can use alternative fuels to be able to power those, but really to get people off the streets. There are people who need education, there are people who need therapy and counseling, there are people who need drug treatment. We need to help those people. So I certainly do what.
My friend actually is getting ready to have him on my space to talk about what he's doing. He runs one of these in the Reno area, and I talk to him on a pretty frequent basis. He's a really good friend of mine, and he has a TED talk about it too. But it's a difficult problem, right? Because these people want to be around the city centers. There's some people that are also problems. Gifting these people stuff, for internet likes, basically is what they're doing it for. They're not just, going and giving it out of that kindness of their heart. If they have to get a video of it, put it on the internet, you see what I'm saying? And, the biggest problem is drug explosive. There's a lot of them that will never, there's nothing you can do for them. And try, hotels that were made, these people, there's a lot of, everybody, but the major problem is the hotels and everything was in trash. So, they just don't take care of it. It just turns into a disaster. So what he ended up doing, what they ended up doing is they have those, like tiny houses that are trailers, like you're talking about, like shipping containers that they pull out. And basically they have to create like an incentive system that gets to work their way, into that, those houses first, there's no drugs out there, this and that, you have these people use their way up the system and you get them into housing, you get them jobs, and there are people that, like some of this team are, some of this best people are people that he just like pulled out of that situation with it, like locked in this lifestyle of maybe using drugs and change someone's life like that way. These people really want them. Usually turn out to be really solid people. They turn out to be real loyal. But then, there's a bunch of different situations happening out there, stuff, right?
I'm in agreement with you. And for the people who say the money's not there, I disagree. And frankly, people don't recognize that you could give every single homeless person in the United States $1 million, which generally will take care of them for the rest of their life, for less than it would take to just stop Department of Defense spending in half, cut Department of Defense spending in half for 1 year. So that means for just like 6 months, we don't buy more planes to kill people, or more bombs to bomb people, or more bullets to hurt people. You could take half of that money and make sure that the military is still being paid, and just for 6 months, not buy new weapons of war, and you'd be able to house every homeless man, woman, and child in the United States for the rest of their life. You wouldn't even have to do this permanently, just for 6 months. Yet that is seen as an impossible dream. But that would solve a lot of the problems there. But yes, I understand that there are psychological problems that people have, addiction problems that people have. But for people who say that the money's not there, I refuse to believe it when I know what the Department of Defense spends.
It's really bad though. It's like it's one of the low whiskey person chicken, or I think like maybe minor psychological problems, maybe not, and exacerbated by drug abuse on a ridiculous scale. It's amazing. People's videos, there's certain people you actually cannot help, and it's just unfortunate. But there's a certain group of people that there's nothing going to be able to help these people. They don't want any help. They don't take any help. That they collect their social security checks and just get every penny on it of just getting I'm not talking high. I'm talking retarded.
I recognize that. It takes it would take a lot of getting high to blow through $1 million, though, and there are a lot of people who lost their businesses during the pandemic, or perhaps due to regulation, who just would need that extra boost. And if we were to say to them, "Look, we don't even have to give you $1 million, but $100,000 to get on your feet. We're going to give you a house in Bakersfield or somewhere wherever it would be comfortable, where you could have some land and you could live the American dream." 85% of the people on Skid Row would run for that right now. 15% might say, "I want to continue to do drugs," or "I'm happy with my fentanyl addiction," or "I don't want to leave." And I completely understand that we could have outreach, but there's a significant amount of that population that just got hard on their luck. What ends up happening, frankly, is a lot of times people in another city in the United States get on a Greyhound bus. Sometimes cities fund people to get on buses to just come to California. In fact, the city of Las Vegas will give you a Greyhound bus ticket to California for $1 just to get you out of town. And there's nowhere else to go. We're the end of the line. And then people and that's true, and that's not, certainly a policy that
Back in the day, back like in the 50s, there was a mob didn't deal with that shit. You didn't come to Vegas and you didn't fuck up the
trash it up. Exactly.
the mob didn't deal with that shit.
Most certainly.
I think there's no points there, but at the end of the day, and I some of this stuff is close to home. Like, there's overspending in our government everywhere, and obviously the military is one of them. And I'm sure that we are vastly overcharged for every single thing that we buy. Areas of business that take advantage of the need and the importance, but like going back to those things, there is a lot of people there's also a lot of people that continue to choose the cycle. And if you gave somebody $1 million, right? You gave me $1 million. I'm not, actively using drugs. I got my shit together. I would probably do that. Most of it's lost. It's about getting people right and getting people educated, getting mental health right. It's like there are so many other things. You can't just give people money and it's going to fix the problem. Like, there's core reasons why people are homeless and stay homeless. And typically, people with children can always find help. Women can find help generally a lot easier than men can. And again, I'm not blanketing everything, but money's not going to fix all the problems. But also, when it comes to like our nation's defense, the reason why we're able to chat in these spaces is because we do have a strong military, and we will not be invaded, and we will not lose our blood. Not to say they don't overspend, but there's necessities everywhere, and it is a political battle. But I think you're on to something with wanting to help people, and like you said, like the tiny home housing and stuff. Great idea. But it's so much more complicated than that. It takes compliance from the people that you're trying to help. And the reality of it is that people just don't want to be helped. They just don't. They want to, they continue on the cycle because it's actually a really big mental health issue to maintain homelessness and then not try to seek help. That is mental health. We are creatures by nature, and we want to have comfort, we want to have shelter, we want to have food. And a lot of those people, they don't seek it out.
I recognize that. I'm certainly not against military spending to some extent, but nobody would invade us within 6 months. We have more military planes, more than three times the nearest competitor. I'm just saying that we could hold off on a few F-35s that the funding of which and the development was over $1 trillion. We could just not have the F-35, and every man, woman, and child who didn't have a home would have a home, and $1 million. And I'm not saying that we would give them it in a lump sum to be able to blow. It would be something that maybe you get a certain stipend or whatever it would be to get on your feet. I just am in agreement with you that military spending has become overblown and it's not audited. The Department of Defense, the Pentagon hasn't been audited. There is no oversight. And this is just an argument when people say, we have no money, we don't have the money. They certainly have the money. The money is there. It's just whether we want to allocate it to this major problem that we have in the United States. And again, I'm not saying cut funding to the government in half forever. To be 6 months, we're not going to get. We would not be invaded. We wouldn't have terrorism. We still have the strongest military force in the world, and we would continue to have that. But we wouldn't have the homeless issue. And I'm just looking for alternatives. I'm not saying that's the only one. And yes, I'm in agreement with you. There's a major mental health issue. There are major motivation for people, but there's a major group of people there. If you've spoken with them, they lost their restaurant, they lost their small business, they ran into medical debt, and they got evicted, and now they're in a tent, and they don't really have a future. It it most certainly will, and especially in a generation or two, and even currently, that's going to be student loan. You can't default on your student loans aside from serious medical or death, and
Yes, they should go get, make sure they get their degrees and get a doctor, lawyer, and woman's studies or something like that.
yeah, but even still, there are issues that occur. People get sick when they are attempting to get their degrees, and then they find themselves six figures in debt, and they'll never get out. Debt is slavery, and we are enslaving our youth. That's another topic. But in answer to the earlier question, what are you planning on doing to help the world, but specifically the United States? Homelessness is a major issue, and I'd like to address that. That's a major passion of mine.
Let's go. Yeah, man, that's it's like hers too. I think it should be like a vetting process because some people they don't beg for money as a way of living. For real, they just go out there for 10 days, 10 days down on their luck, and then they'll ask for funds and hard-working Americans actually get up every day, stay in for 8 hours, they look at their pay, and then you have this person who's able-bodied and able to work, who refuses to get a job but sit there on the corner like they actually know this thing. So I think it should be a vetting process for like anybody that's standing up to take care of them. Because the true, making sure the true lawyers need ecosystems.
I'm in agreement with you as well. I mean, you shouldn't be able to cut this.
Check out my friend's page or his YouTube. If you could, if you really like care about the situation, I think it might be interested in like seeing what he's doing though, because he is doing it, And like I said, I was going to have actually the state they have to fly. I'm in Florida for flying Vegas in a day or two here, and then so probably sometime next week I'll do this space. Might be a great space because we're gonna creep up, but it'd be cool if you touch the space and come up with speakers and like to hear the conversation that you guys have together.
Excellent. I appreciate the opportunity. If I'm able to make it, I certainly will. To Dark M's point, and he raises an excellent point. How fair is it that you have somebody who's been breaking their back in a 9 to 5 job, supporting the country, paying their taxes, doing everything right, and then they're going to be passed up on $1 million? No, 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 no. I disagree with that as well. I'm saying though that the funds are available to be able to help many of these homeless people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we shouldn't be helping the small business owner and the person who is cleaning the toilets and the teachers and nurses of the United States as well. As I, without making this political, as I do my best to stay out of politics, but when we were promised as Americans this tariff system, one of the exchanges for the tariffs was not going to be um, rebates or we were supposed to no longer have an income tax. That's what was we were told, that we would exchange the tariffs for the income tax that was instituted upon this country in 1913. Prior to 1913, there was no federal income tax, and federal income tax is essentially it's a slow type of slavery, and I don't agree with the fact that that is something that has been placed upon us. Our wages are essentially being garnished by the sins of previous generations and wars. 100%. If you take $100 bill today, that in 1913. So basically, in 1913, $1 it was is worth more than $100 today. That's more than 99. Per, yeah. So arguments can be made against metals, especially because we were taken off the gold standard in 1971 by the Nixon administration. But just based on inflation, $1 in 1913 is worth $100 today, which basically means that our penny, or pardon me, the penny of 1913 is worth like what, a dollar more than what a dollar is. That's the type of devaluement we've seen in our currency. That's what inflation does. Inflation is a hidden tax on the people and should be avoided at all costs. And it's unfortunate, but we're getting into flirting with some aspects of inflation. At points, we may in the future see hyperinflation, and that's where things get very scary. Personally, that's why I personally feel you all are positioned pretty well against this, being involved in crypto and NFTs and such. You're in the Web3 space, and hopefully your money becomes less and less powerful, and that's a hidden tax against you.
What the president does, if he goes back and forth so he's got a lot of investment in jobs. Actually, he's got a major automotive companies from here, Mercedes, BMW, that was making their cars over there. And by create the tariffs, say, hey, we're going to build your cars in America, you don't pay the tariff tax on it, brought jobs to America by doing that. So let's see how much of this plan gets carried out in Washington. Tri-state pretty impartial and pretty judgmental about what I think is working and what's not working. But in the short term, like right now, like tariffs are absolutely, absolutely in the short term.
This was
Is that going to hurt? See how this plays out. I feel like I see the bigger picture. We'll see what happens.
right. This was not what we were promised. And with that, my friends, I am going to let you go. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to share and have these insightful discussions. And I, I absolutely, I look forward to speaking with you all again soon. Take care, everyone. Shalom, motherfucker. Yo, how are you?
Oh, Rabbi.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, you know what it is?
Flax, yeah, Flax Life. How are you, baby?
Hey, Rabbi. How are you, man? I haven't talked to you in a very long time.
I know last time you were in here, I think we talked about how many people I have in this Discord, and we talked it was going to be 2,100, and we just surpassed 2,500. How do you like that, son?
Hey, good shit, bro. Nice. Hey, good shit.
Excellent.
Happy for you, man.
Excellent. I appreciate it. My friend, you caught me at a tough time. I'm in the middle of a Twitter space, and there's some really big influencers in here. So if you just bear with me, I'm about to shill them. So this will be with your time. Just one moment.
You want to come back in 5 minutes? You want to come back in 5 minutes?
You should listen to this. It's pretty good. Just one moment.
There's going to be a whole team of people that are going to be, out front in space. I need to get a soul research. That's so. I know what it was. My call was going into his call, so I was preparing for that call too. So I was trying to read her for that, and then Michael at the same time. Yeah, so I was kind of like the afterthought. That's normal. She always makes you feel like that. Let's just remember, I've got the two people being very, very patient. T100, you've had your hand up for ages, bro. Thank you for being so patient with us. Alright, someone just muted the entire room. That wasn't me. Alright, that's obviously fucking Leslie being fucked up again. Alright, but T100, if you don't get muted, you're going to talk. Oh, Michael did it. Alright, let's just blame Leslie though. It would have been me and you against Leslie. So, T100, how are you? Chilling. Every day above ground's a blessing. Yep. Good, mate. Thank you. Good, thank you. Yeah, I was just listening. If you guys are looking for capital finance, like we're pretty on point these days. So let us know. We built some really cool shit. We got some like super alpha contacts, but we built like a system that just goes to town. They can handle like 8,000 plus personal inquiries, custom written, emails using like super rich real data from like Tim Grapper, like some of the most like insane Bitcoin businessmen. And it's been successful. Right? Like the response, like from all the financial partners are just going nuts. So, let us know if you guys are looking for that. We got some cool stuff. Well, Michael's the one to talk to for that. So, I'm just the trading mate. I'm just a guy with the fucking tools. I'm just the monkey that's going to build this shit. So, we're chilling. We got Team Alpha and Team Bravo intersected. We're just chilling, barbecuing right now, waiting for tomorrow. Nice, mate. Nice. And we got another hand up. If you want to, this Rabbi ROTHSCHILD. If you want to grab the mic, mate, say it, mate.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. Do you mind if I share my project with you? Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Rabbi Rothschild. If you don't know who I am, you will. I stream my life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for world peace. I've been doing so for more than 4 years. My streams go back to the pandemic. We've seen the death of a queen, the birth of AI, the coronation of a king, and everything in between. This is a real-life Truman Show, a real-life Big Brother. This is a time capsule and a timeline of human achievement. In the 1990s, Bill Gates coined the phrase content is king, and I'm making it true today. I'm king of the internet. This is the biggest event in global history, and here's why. In 2018, The Economist magazine stated that data had overtaken petroleum as Earth's #1 resource. Am I being interrupted? Please let me finish. Thank you. In 2018, The Economist magazine stated that data had overtaken petroleum as Earth's #1 resource, and I have more data archived on the internet than any person ever, which is making me a very influential person. And with that influence, I'm going to go viral. And when I do, I want to make you, your friends, your family, all independently wealthy if you're not already. I want to make sure that you have generational wealth if you don't already. And I want you to be able to start charities and philanthropic organizations of your own. I'm unlike any influencer that you're ever going to meet. I'm not live on one YouTube stream nor you two YouTube streams. I'm live on over 20 simultaneous YouTube streams 24 hours a day. You can watch my life in 360 degrees. I even have a ceiling camera. If you want to see a link to my YouTube streams, look at my pinned post in my profile. There's a link to my YouTube. You also can view my link tree. I dare you to look at my link tree. No one else is going to dare you to look at their link tree, but I do because I have more social media than any person ever. I have more content than any person ever. There's also a link to my Discord.
That's your 2 minutes. That was fucking epic. We need the maximum 2 minute shots, but bro, I'm gonna let anyone go around the room and ask if they've got any questions. That was the energy there, mate. Was fucking intense. I'm gonna go have a look. Look, I'm giving you a follow. Like literally, you go into a room and you start talking like that. I'm gonna fucking follow you, bro. I love that energy. So let's just see if anyone's got any questions they want to ask you now. That was the 2 minute show. It's well done, bro. That was fucking hectic. I don't know. Did you pause for breath at any point? That's the first question.
I do my best to maybe practice circular breathing as I do it.
There you go. Leslie, Michael, that was fucking full on. What do we reckon? Ladies first. Leslie probably wasn't listening, right? Let's be honest. I'll go. So that was a very good show, man. Congratulations on that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming up here talking, sharing with us, about your project. It sounds like you said you had like the most content ever on the internet, and you got your life documented and all this other good shit. But you got 800 followers, bro.
Oh yeah, this is one of my 2,000 Twitter accounts. I have accounts with over 10,000 followers as well. If you've ever been on enough Twitter, you'll get suspended every once in a while, and you'll have to use one of your backup accounts. So that's certainly one of my backup accounts.
Yeah, for sure, bro. We definitely believe you right now.
Okay, I mean you don't have to. I have 40,000 plus followers on Twitch. I have 2,500 people in my Discord. I mean I do have numbers.
And what's your market cap at, bro? Just out of interest, if you don't mind sharing that, what chain are you on? That's the only thing I would say. Get in there, what chain are you on?
Yeah, most certainly. So I'm sponsored by a cryptocurrency, one of the OG meme coins. It's known as Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu. The ticker's Bitcoin. It's worth about $100 million.
Nice, bro.
Oh, and it's Ethereum.
We just lost Leslie. Yeah, I was laughing, about, being, losing your account because this is my backup account. I lost my main account on Sunday was permanently suspended by hacks. Fucktards.
Oh, then we are two peas in a pod. And as you understand, there's no support at Twitter. You can be as nice as you want. I lost my blue check mark. I was one of the early adopters of Twitter Blue back when it was $1 under the Jack Dorsey era of Twitter, and they will. Twitter support offers no support. It should be called anti-support. It's basically just a circular amount of emails that you're going to get, and it's basically impossible to connect with anybody unless you're a celebrity or perhaps someone extremely influential. So what you end up doing is just starting out another account and building it back up, and it's basically a climb, and I'm not going to let it get in my way.
How did you get to that point, though? Like, I liked it, but it was so fast and so it was almost robotic. Like, I've got it in the time of 2 minutes. Right? So I understand it. He had 96 minutes of content that he wanted to cram into 120 seconds. I slow it down a little bit. Sometimes less more, right? Sometimes less vibe a little bit with the people, man.
Well, certainly I understand, but basically it depends on what space you're in, how much they're going to let you talk. And, keep in mind in there, I had an interruption, so I had to get through that and get back on my feet. And so I knew that time was of the essence. I did my best to cram as much in there as possible. And in a lot of these rooms, that's what they want. They want high energy and individuals. They can listen quickly. They know what I'm saying. They understand. They're picking up when I'm laying down. And especially when a Twitter space is dragging and other Twitter spaces I've been in there, that brings a lot of life into them. So they enjoy it. Just depends on what people want.
That's good, right? What do you reckon, mate? You're always pretty chill with your views on what people are doing. But how are you been, brother? fuck's going on there? Tell me what's going on.
Oh boy, yeah, we locked in. Freaking like with David now. We had football barbecue, getting Starlink set up, doing some things in here for the studio. Yeah, we locked in. Shout out Jim. Yes, you're rocking your CBO. Yeah, we're good, dude. We're pretty excited to get things going. Ran into some people at the grocery store, bro, and just like, yeah, I mean, like the narratives that we're talking about, kind of. They speak for themselves. They're captivating, man. We had a lot of people at the Home Depot stop what they were doing and just listen to us talk. Like, people were getting pissed off that the checkout ladies wouldn't do their jobs. They're just like involved in the conversation. It's pretty cool.
Bro, man. Are you guys connected with my trading boys too? Nice. Yeah, me and Will go way back, brother. Are you kidding me right now, bro? Oh my God, this is excellent, bro. Fucking everybody. Oh my God, bro. So like, my trading boys are connected with my. Oh my God. How did I know this till just now, dude? Oh my God, bro. CBO is connected with everybody, dude. This is crazy. Man, you guys are just killing it right now. Dude, shout out to my trading guys too, bro. So glad to be part of that project, man. You guys are killing it, man. I just absolutely love my tradies. You know, I'm a carpenter and a welder by trade and a firefighter. So, you know, I work my hands and that's what I do, dude. So, I mean, I love my tradies. And, you know, then we got crypto black ops in it. Like, are you kidding me, dude? This is just next level, bro. Then Rusty shows up, rocking his Long Neck Legends. So Long Neck Legends are in the house, dude. Like, this is just, like, the whole community's here. And then we got Shiny Gal in here, too. Oh, my God, bro. This is a dope space. You know, tradies that get minted yet? Dude, that Secret Santa from the Crypto Black Ops, that minted yet? Or is that still in there? Did somebody get in there? That's fucking crazy. Did somebody get the second Trump? Oh, no, the second Trump's still in there. There's another Trump on it, I believe. There's another Mossad agent, I believe. One of the Mossad agents minted out. The Wizards minted out. You see, we did a snapshot for that. Gandalf went through like a psychopath, minted out so much. He changed his name. His name was King Nobi, but he changed his name. His entire account, he changed it. He's like that PFP. Yeah, I know General Kenobi. I can't believe he did. Yo, that is gangster as fuck, bro. That's so good, dude. I heard the Santa shit, and I was like, oh, that's different. And now if ever. So I don't know that, boys, everybody I just decide to run a random space, and then all of a sudden, you know, all these fucking right accounts come together, whatever, have a fucking chat. Hey, sometimes that's always the best way to do it, right? Just set something up, see who comes. So, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what you've been up to, mate? Or you can just leave me fucking hanging, like, whatever works for you, you know? Trading. What have you been up to? Yeah, I want to hear a trading show. Trading, tell me what you're up to. I'll do a trading show in a minute, 'cause I'm literally in the middle of making a cup of tea. The dog's running on. My internet kind of was going back and forth with Starlink, but I heard you in the back. What did you say, bro? No, bro, it's gone now. It's gone. I can't repeat it. Like, you know, in the moment, it's gone. It's just fucking, next time, I was just saying what you've been up to. Like, that was all. So you want to tell me what you're up to and tell me what you're doing with your Black Ops stuff. Well, mate, tell the room, tell us what you're up to. Shit, yeah, dude, I mean, look, so I went up to Michigan to grab the Cybertruck.
Flex.
right? However, again, if David and Israel wouldn't execute the new particular infraction, then Ben Noach would also not be held liable for that infraction. So what do you come to exclude? The following case, an Achim who made an avodah zarah, but did not bow down to it. He didn't bow down to it. So what do you do in a situation like this? Here's another case. Right? If a Jew, if you look at a Jew, they did not bow down to it. Certainly not good, right? Not good to make any items. But halacha when I saw, there's not liability unless, of course, he actually goes ahead and bows down to it. If he doesn't worship it, then there's no liability. When I pop up, and again, as you just said before, if the Jew doesn't have liability for it, then the Achim doesn't have liability for it. We're talking about hugging and kissing an idol. The Gemara says, what does that mean? Deny. What do you mean you're hugging and kissing an idol? Even if normally if you worship together with hugging and kissing, then everybody's liable for that. I love when you should look at that. Either it's talking about over here, even Shalokidak, meaning let's say the derech of this particular idol is not to be hugged and kissed. So in this type of fashion, even if one hugs and kisses, it will not be liability because one is having a Holizara who will call Normadinin, then they know how to speak. Let's go back to the list. So when it comes to setting up judicial system, it's not true that they know how obligated it is. How we learned that Tanya, as when it's supposed to establish Shalimara. Claudius was commanded 10 mitzvos in Torah. Sheva shekibu aven v'nei. Now, 7 of them, now when we say they were given 10 mitzvos, really, there are 7 pre-existing mitzvos that the Noach already had. Sivu alein, dinin, Shabbos, kibbutz avayim. And in Mara, there are 3 more added. Dinin, the obligations to establish a judicial system, Shabbos, and kibbutz avayim. So the Mara says, Dinin, Dichsiv. How do we know that Dinin were added at Mara? Remember again, Mara was the first stop after Kriyas Yamsuf. Like after we left the banks of the Red Sea, Moshe made a big suspect. We traveled for 3 days in the desert. They couldn't find water. They came to a place called Mara. Why was it called Mara? Because the water was bitter. We don't provide that about Shem. The Pasuk says they were unable to drink the water. Now, normally we translate that to mean the waters were bitter. But Hashem says that it should have just said the water singular was bitter. What does it mean from Marin They were bitter? It says it wasn't the waters that were bitter. The juice were bitter. And when a person is bitter, even the sweetest of waters has a bitter taste. In other words, your perspective impacts everything. A positive perspective, the world looks beautiful and incredible. A positive perspective, even when going through some challenges becomes an opportunity for personal honesty, growth, and transcendence. On the other hand, the negative attitude, even the greatest bracha, even the sweetest of waters, becomes something overwhelming, negative, and troubling. Light is always a matter of our perspective. So at Mara it says Dinin. What do they get Dinin? It said Sham Sam Lo Choku Mishpat. Okay? Shabbos. You keep it out there. You sit, kasher tzif, kasher malakata. So commanded you, Bamra, you got kasher tzivcha, b'mara. And again, remember that's the lashon over here. Torah, both by Shabbos as well as by Kibbutz Avayim. Lashon kasher tzivcha, Hashem commanded you. So we're understanding here as Hashem commanded you previously back in Mara. Okay, so the point over here is how can you say the way the Gemara is setting this up over here is that halacha l'maisa, the Jews already had the 7 Noachide laws before Mara. In Mara, they got 3 more halachas. More than 3 more halachas. Dinin, obligations to set up the judicial system. Kibbutz Avayim, honoring parents. And number 3, Shabbos, for a total of 10 binding halachas by Klal. So here's the problem. We just said before that Dinin, establishment of the court system, was already one of the 7 Noachide laws. That's the case. What are they receiving in Mara? To which the Gemara says, what's going on here? Lo nitzvah elo le'ido, they even. What are they receiving in Mara? Lo nitzvah elo le'ido, they even. 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 Lo nitzvah elo le'ido Basra. The Gemara, what they got were more legal details. Namely, you read that halacha l'maisa, if you're going to adjudicate the capital case, that's going to be from 23. In other words, there was a concept of establishing a judicial system that was always part of nullified law. But the details of it, right, specifically how they do. So then again, what does it mean when the Gemara says that ultimately, again, Din was added on? It means like interesting. That Shemizas Noach were the establishment of the legal system was for normative law. Normative law, right? Again, financial cases, even capital cases. What were the name Noach got empowered to adjudicate? Knossos penalty cases. And in Mara, they got the concept of Knossos penalty cases. Atati, Vasifu Bidin in the but still, it should have said Vasifu Bidin, not Vasifu Dinin, because Vasifu Dinin makes it sound like the laws of the judicial system were added on in Mara. And if you tell me they had the judicial system, but rather again, they were just giving something extra like Knossos, then it should have said Vasifu Bidin. Rather, again, interestingly, as part of Shemizas Noach, they were given the obligation to establish a judicial system. In Mara, they were given the obligation to establish a Beis Din in every city. It's called Ufak, literally in every neighborhood and every city. Every city, local, but they did. Local, but they did. I have Bnei Noach, or Bnei Noach not obligated to do that already. Every year. That's not true. The Gemara says the same way that Jews were obligated to go ahead and make Badei Din in every city and in every locale, every city. So today, right? So this kind of has a different opinion as to what the Shemizas Noach was. He takes out that is Din and Jefras Hashem, establishing the judicial system and blasphemy, and instead he adds in Sach, which is serious castration, and Kaf for Kilai. So this tunnel has a different opinion as to what comprised the original Shemizas Noach, and he actually holds that Din and the establishment of the judicial system was not part of the original set. Therefore, Allah was the system that Klal Yisrael received for the first time in Marutana, the Menashe, Sheva Mitzvos, Bnei Noach, Establish Bnei Noach, Aben Gila Rayos, Shichostanim, Gezel Ve'elam Menachai, Sirus Okilayim. So you see from there, so this is the opinion of Bnei Menashe, right? So the Yeshiva Menashe, they had a different opinion of Sheva Bnei Noach. There were 7 different mitzvahs. Now they agree on 5, so they disagree on 2. So whereas the primary opinion said that when Sheva Bnei Noach was establishing a judicial system and blasphemy, Yeshiva Bnei Menashe, they took it out. Not blasphemy, they could take out blasphemy and judicial system and instead replace it with silus, castration, and blasphemy. And again, like we saw the thing. So let's stop over here for today. We're going to pick up tomorrow with a beautiful Gemara about our show. Sorry again that I wanted to reach the person today. Sorry for the last minute cancellation is going on the live here. But thank you for the opportunity to grow with all of you. Have a great day.
None of these guys are doing great with their relationships now. The best part about Brendan Schaub and watching all these clips weekly is that these feel like just regular podcast. Like when you start watching a clip, you're like, this is a regular, like just tuning into a certain part of it. And then Brendan opened his mouth. You know what I mean? You know, like usually when there's a bunch of guys, it's gonna be misogynistic. Hey man, I told my brother that shit the fuck.
Good morning.
Good morning, man. Yeah. And then Brendan's gonna be like,
today's stop is Sanhedrin stop.
is that what he said?
Nun Hey.
He said, I'm winning, bitch. Yeah, Brenda's taking this advice to heart.
We're going to pick up on the down on the base, surrounding ourselves with the Gemara we done yesterday, all those kids in the Gemara. We begin today by thanking our sponsors. We thank our annual Town Torah sponsors, the Tilson family, who are show for sponsors in the shooting all the sponsors of 5785. And as a sponsor for service centers for all party shows. We also thank our legal running sponsors. We thank Barrel and from Golf here for sponsoring all the Shira this week. Donation of Barrel's now on the yard site. Beryl Ben Mikayan, whose website was yesterday, and the all shot. We also thank the sponsors for Tafiomi Share today, Adam Parker for sponsoring Tafiomi in memory of Harry Parker, Yachmiel, Hirsch, Ben Yisrael, Charles, and Having Aliyah. We also thank Yona Oakley for sponsoring Tafiomi today for a request for sports setup to Yachmiel. Recent Ben Yafa Shingo Gizzo, who's having back surgery today. Yachty should have a full speedy recovery, be pain-free, and back on a serious note. Yachty, we wish you and of course, Selena, hopefully the surgery as well. And Paul Kibri, we also thank the family sponsorship. Wishing tremendous amounts of Rabbi Dr. Rifkin, the birthday baby boy. Thank you so much for the sponsorship. Yeah, I'd like to share tremendous info about the time my wife was actually the birthday yesterday. Our family is thrilled to welcome another boy to the rest of the family. We're just having a report to celebrate with you. We're just celebrating with you. We're just Bliss showing up. And we look forward to bringing Mathis to Pineville. And we're just bringing Mathis to his parents as well.
I think maybe there's a little bit of fear going on. Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, someone told me that I was out of line. I was wearing my jacket during the Yomi share. Sorry.
I'm glad that he's no longer
stuck. That's the only thing I was out of line for yesterday.
I'll take it. Very extreme position to take. Maybe we're gonna
yesterday we ended up in Gemara with a focus all the way at the bottom of the Yamud between Rabbi and Shmuel about when you have a Zafar who is the recipient of Mishka Zafar, does it follow the halachas of Mishka Isha, or does it follow the halachas of Shokeh of a Zafar? In other words, we know that when it comes to a girl, halachically, the bia with a girl is only considered to be a bia from above the age of 3. When it comes to a boy, the bia is only considered to be a bia from the boy is go out somebody only from the age of 9. So when the boy, the recipient, does his action follow the action of being the Mishkan, where he would have to be 9 years old, or does the action follow the halachas of Mishkevei Isha, because Mishkevei Isha would be from the age of 3. In other words, does the act of acting like the woman make that the Zafar has the halacha of a woman, or does the Zafar only follow the halacha of the Zafar, and therefore he would have to be 9 years old, regardless of which position he would play? Zafar, the way to read this is Zafar. The way to read this is Zafar. In other words, we're referring to, we mentioned yesterday, Rashi Torah, whenever it says Zafar, referring to the act of the Zafar being in the position of the Mishkevei Isha, the halacha is B'nteisha Shanim V'yom Echad, from 9 years and 1 day. Now, you typically would read this as a continuing sentence, but Rashi tells us we should read it really Ketani. So that's one case. You have one case which is Zafar, B'nteisha Shanim V'yom Echad, or Haba al-Behema, Beis Kedat Beis Kedat. The person has a relationship with the animal, whether the relationship with the animal is in a normal way or an abnormal way. Well, Isha, Neviah, Behema, Allah, and the woman who brings an animal upon her, again, Bein Kedakta, Bein Kedakta, whether it's the normal way of Bia or it's not the normal way of Bia, the halacha is Diet. What do you see clearly over here? So look at opening Sharaya, like Rav, and when it comes to a Zafar, it is still goes to the age of 9, not from the age of 3. That's the end of the Gemara trial. Now, the Gemara goes on a little bit further, and you use this right that we just mentioned to disprove another shita. Now, the Gemara says, Dara should Nachman Bar Chista. And Nachman Bar Chista made the following drasha. The Isha, it says, Shnei Mishkavos. Behema, Mishkavechad. But the Isha says, Mishkevei Isha, which is a plural. And when it comes to it, Behema, it says, Mishkavechad, the pasuk uses a singular term. Now, Master Laura Papa asked the following question. Abraham, if you're using logic, that doesn't make sense. Isha, the Orgarchi, a woman who is normal for a person to engage in intimacy with her, you should say, Amishkat Machayev, Amidam Achrina, why Machayev? On a normal way of being intimate with a woman, the person has that kind of intimacy in a way that's going to be usher. In such a case, it would be forbidden. Behema is a lot more biggie. Behema, the whole thing is not normal. There's no such thing as a normal way of being intimate with an animal. So the person's going to go ahead and do that, and then Allah, I'll connect with Muneka. You should be looking at any type of intercourse with this animal. In other words, the whole idea of saying, oh yeah, a person could be intimate with an animal, kidar, the normal way. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. It's not normal, the whole thing is not normal. Now, the way Rabbi explains this is, when it comes to an Isha, so there's an element of Hana over there on the recipient. So again, it comes to an Isha, to a woman, there's a normal way of a woman enjoying intimacy. So that would be kidarka, but not be shalom kidarka. However, when it comes to an animal, the whole idea is really this person who's engaging in this animal, this behavior with this animal. Now, what's the difference? If from the animal side, it's going to be what a woman would consider to be normal. Again, the whole thing from the human perspective is not normal. So therefore, it's make a difference between the normal way of being intimate and the abnormal way of being intimate also doesn't make any sense. Therefore, a Papa says it should really be the opposite. Now, the truth is, it doesn't really need. Look at Tosis. He said, Adarabba Isha the Orcha, she took a kula shas. It's obvious in all of Shas that the Isha is Tayyab Hashnei Mishkavah. Why the Mishkavah Isha Ksid? In other words, the Rama is not really trying to tell you that if a person is going to be intimate with a woman to whom it is also to be intimate with, if you be intimate with her in what we call Biyashlo Kedarka, an abnormal way, that he would not be tired. In other words, the Mark's not trying to say that. Not because they're Psukim and they're Mishnayim, so he is tired. The Papa can't argue with that. Rather, it's pointed out, the Papa Hafi Tala, this is what Papa meant to say. In Yesh L'Chalim, B'Isha L'Behema, if you would like to differentiate between an animal and a woman, it's Harhava and a Behema. Your logic would have dictated the other way around. In other words, not that he's saying that the halacha would be the opposite, but again, if you're going to use logic to go ahead and determine which way would be chayiv, which would not be chayiv, then the opposite should be true. That by an Isha, it should only be the normal way. Being intimate to buy animals is the whole thing is absurd, so therefore there's no such thing as a normal way to do it. Thank you for bringing me coffee. The Gemara says, however, as much as the logic would make sense, the problem is, Tanya, we learned in the Brisa, Zachar, as we just mentioned, if he's 9 years in 1 day, Habal Behema, or someone who has relationship with an animal, says very clearly, make the dark, make Shalom Kedarka, makes no difference if it's the normal way or the abnormal way. Again, anatomically, the normal way or the abnormal way. Lagisha, I mean, Halacha is, regardless of what you would have thought, regardless of the logic would have dictated, Halacha is still going to be the same. That in any way a person can be intimate with a woman or with an animal, in the case it's going to be for an animal, only it's going to be for the woman, depending on who the woman is. In any case where it's done, any kind of intimacy, whether it's Kedarka or Shalom Kedarka, whether it's the normal anatomical way or the abnormal anatomical way, now what still would be that there's chayyim, there's violation of the Yisr, and that there, in other words, the logic that we said, that when it comes to an animal, it should be both. When it comes to an Isha, it shall be one, and makes no difference. Okay, the Gemara continues. Some other Ravina asks the following question. So when it comes to the halachas of Bia, we learned this in a couple other chapters. We basically, there's basically 3 levels of Bia. There's what's called the Shikata Eva, where it's just a touch of the human body from one to the next. Then there's a Achnafas Eva, Achnafas Kol Atara, and then there's something called Vitamatbi. So the Neshika obviously is the initial touch, and then there's the penetration. Ma'ara, it's about focus what that is, either it's the initial touch or it's the initial penetration. Now, it's Mekara Hera. Rashi brings it down, we want to mention it soon. It's Mekara Hera, it's very clear in the pasuk, a person does not have to actually complete the Bia for a person to violate Bia with the Nida. As long as the person has Hara with a Nida, already in violation of being Bo and Nida, and it's a Chiyuv Kares. Now the Gemara wants to know what happens if the person does is hara with the zakar. Again, being intimate with the zakar is azar. So it's this one you're asking, talking about that. And now Allah, the Gemara asks you, to what extent does the person have to be intimate? If it simply touches, or if it's mafakis, or the penetration begins, is that enough? Or does it have to be what we refer to as a gemaravia, as a completion, a complete full penetration? The Gemara says, what's the halacha with just hara? The Gemara says, what's your question? Mishkevei isha ksiv. The Gemara refers to that as Mishkevei isha. Now, there's got to be a reason why the Gemara possibly refer to it as Mishkevei isha. The Mishkevei isha, we know that it comes to being intimate with the woman. It's forbidden. Allah is even hara could be a problem. The Gemara says, "Ella ha'ma'ar b'heim about." The Gemara wants to know what's the halacha with regard to an animal. It's just hara. There's no Gemara bina, but it's hara. What's the halacha? The Gemara says, "Amalei." And Einoi inu la'ara. The sid gabi aklai. Also, that place you might do it. You know, the pasuk says very clearly, it says very clearly, pasuk. The pasuk is she'eroi ha'ara. So it says clearly the lashon of hara there. Therefore, any time a person engages in that kind of relationship, does that have to be completely even the initial penetration is a problem. So then why does it say it? What's the point to say? In other words, the Gemara needs to say, when it comes to all Mishkevei isha, there's a hekesh inu l'hara that sid gabi ha'chayis other ha'chayis imay. Why? The word tzricha doesn't have to say why not. The ha'itzkish l'hara the nida. Nida is the initial place where it says the kara hara is the problem, and all other arayas are juxtaposed to the halacha of nida. So therefore, when it comes to all forbidden kinds of relationships, even if there's an initial penetration giving a sign because of this hekesh, so why does the pasuk have to say it when it comes to a chayis which is an ant, or a chayis again another ant from the father or from the mother? Why does it say it there? As we mentioned yesterday, we have this cloud. The pasuk tells us something which is not necessary, and we're allowed to borrow it and apply it to another case. Then Inyan la'ara to behema. You can borrow those extra words and apply it to hara to behema, and therefore, just like any kind of intimacy, there's also with an animal, hara is going to be up with an animal as well, and it follows all the other halachas of intimacy, and even the initial contact is going to be a problem. Hold on a second. Let's analyze this for a second. Behema, you have to put these things in different categories. A behema, when a person violates the Isser, they're kind of Isser from Beis Din. This is something which is adjudicated by a Beis Din, based in a bus with not by Kadosh Baruch Hu, but by Beis Din. And then why is it that it's going to be connected with family members that have creatures like an ant? Those are supposed to be Baruch Hu takes care of. Those things are not adjudicated by a Beis Din. So why would you write the words, the extra words, she'era hara, by someone who's chayav misa, b'dei shemayim, through krisos, through kares? Why would you write it by a case which is more similar to the chayav misa suspension? The katzvik of it here, chayav misa suspension. But mikmah misa suspension, mikmah misa suspension. The Lord says that Hayel says the kulei kram l'drasha l'da'asa, siva nada. The Gemara says, Rashi points this out, that the psukim are repeated in Parshas Akelos and Kedoshim. The psukim are said twice. So if you ever have psukim that are said twice, the entire second time that they're written is for a drasha, to teach you something to learn from. Now, since they were written an extra time to teach you extra halachos, the Gemara says we have no problem adding in some extra halachos with it to borrow other cases. In other words, the bottom line is, when it comes to hara, it's going to be a problem. It's always a problem by zakar. It's always a problem by isha. The chiddush of today's year is it's a problem by behema as well. And how do you know that? You learn that that's an extra word. That's kishe'era and hara, which is extra and unnecessary to write by hand to the mother or to the father. But since there's extra over there, because we need an halacha because all mishkevei isha, all forbidden intimate relationships are compared to one to the next, and therefore you don't have to write this extra words there. So this must be teaching you when it comes to a behema, to an animal, the bestiality that Allah is even a hara is going to be a problem. Now we want to ask the question. Vaynei Rabbi Ami, the son of Ami, asked the following question to the Sheshes. What if a person does this to himself? What's the halacha? Now, is that going to be a problem? Amalei, what did Rav Sheshes respond to him? Kavastam, you're driving me crazy. In other words, that's the simple understanding. There's a bunch of different ways of understanding the word Kavastam. Either it comes from the word Kivyosis, which is a type of ganav, or it's just like, why are you asking questions? So look at Rashi. Rashi translates the word Kavastam, Tsar Tav. You're bothering me. You're asking something which is impossible. Others say you're causing my stomach to turn by asking me such a ridiculous question. Now, Gemara explains why was it a ridiculous question. What's your question? Let's analyze this. Because if it's something about a person with the aver is firm, it's just impossible. Anatomically impossible for a person to do this to himself. When is this possible? We're talking about a case where a person does this with a limp aver. Now imagine I'm a Mishamet made by Rayis Potter, Alpha Potter. When it comes to all Rayis, now if the person's intimate with a limp aver, they're Potter. So of course, this is giving the same exact halacha. Well, imagine I'm Archai. Then to those who say a person is tired for an intimate relationship with a limp aver, then Alpha Matayim 30. Here, it should be tied twice. In other words, you can figure it out. In other words, if it's impossible, the whole case is impossible. Why are you bothering to ask? If the case is possible, then how is it going to be possible? The only way it's possible is your halachically not considered to be a bia according to most opinions. So therefore, it's not halachically to be considered a bia according to these opinions either. And if it is halachically a bia, so it is. In other words, why are you bothering to ask this question? I think this actually brings us up. It's just an important discussion today. All these gemaras over here. What are the likelihoods of these cases happening? Now, I think it's very important to know. I don't think these gemaras are bringing up
my shit. Yeah, you got a stick on
like the culture was engaged in this type of behavior. I mean, I hope not. I haven't lived through that over the years of this kind of culture. But the reason why I try to bring this up is because there's no such thing as cases that are left to our imagination. The Torah governs our life. And the Torah governs every possible scenario. We can't have a situation where in one generation a person comes up with a bizarre idea and then maybe has to go ahead and make up the halacha. We don't make the halacha. Every single case is going to be dealt with in the Torah. So look from the Eretz the Torah covers every single case. This is Torah. The Torah needs to look at the Nisarach. We need to know what the Torah's opinion is on every single case. Every generation is going to come up with something new. Our generation has come up with a lot of new things. And we always have to know what the Torah says about every single case. You can't have a situation where, because something sounds very bizarre to us, we say, we shouldn't talk about that in the Gemara. It shouldn't be brought up. It's nothing which is relevant to the Gemara. It makes our stomach turn. Now, it makes our stomach turn because the case is impossible to happen. In other words, it's just simply impossible for it to physically happen. So don't bother asking the question. Although you can use justice to figure it out, it's just impossible and it becomes irrelevant. So as long as something is possible, we have to know what the Torah says about it. And that's what we're doing here. To go through these cases, as much as these cases, for the most part, send bizarre to us. What's going on over here? Who does these kinds of things? The bottom line is, Torah needs to look right on yourself. This is Torah. We need to know what the halacha is in every single case, as disturbing as it might sound. What is the halacha? What does the Kodesh Baruch Hu want from us in this particular case? Therefore, the Gemara went through these cases. Last two days, a testimony of that. We go through cases which are many of us our stomachs turning by. The bottom line is, we need to know what the Torah says about it. When it comes to a case where it's just impossible for it to happen, that's the Gemara says, okay. Maybe this is Torah, but it's not worried. It's alien on these thoughts. I need to learn this because it's just impossible. And that's why he responded to them and said, you don't have to ask this question because either it's impossible or the halacha is never possible. The Gemara goes out. Oh, we know, Rav Sheshes. We're going to ask the following question from Rav Sheshes. Right now, it goes ahead and engages in a relationship with the behema, mahu. You put the animal to death. Now, the Gemara is even explain this question. Why not? Takala, the kala dinan, v'halchas takala ika, kala lek, If you remember in our Mishnah told us two reasons why an animal is put to death when there is a case of bestiality between a human being and an animal. One of them was the hayel ba'aslu takala ayada. One is because a person went ahead and sinned by way of this animal. So in other words, this animal is the vehicle for sin, therefore we put it to death. The other way of learning it was that it's just a desire this animal to be walking through the street, and people can say, oh, this is the animal that this person was put to death over. Now, takala is the first one. Kala is the shame, which is the second one. The question just is, do you need both, or do you need just one? When the Mishnah told us that there are two reasons, was the Mishnah telling us you have to have both reasons, or is one of them enough? What's the difference when it comes to an akum? When it comes to an akum, perhaps there's going to be a case of takala, but there won't be color. Why is there no color? Why is there no shame? Now, what Rashi says is that it could be that in certain eras, certain period of time, that different idolaters did this. Different idolaters, there have been bizarre chapters of Zara. Maybe some idolaters did this, so one is considered to be a shame for them. And more than that, it could be that even though there was some type of human dignity shame that came along with it, will the Torah go ahead and go out of its way to worry about the shame of an idolater? Is that what we're going to be worried about? To go ahead and put an animal to death for the sake of the shame of the idolater. That's the more important. No, Sheshet said the assuming of the Mishnah proves this point. Ma ilanos. When it comes to trees of Avodah Zarah, they ain't often, they don't eat, they ain't shocking, they don't drink, they may eat, they can't smell, and still Amra Torah, house space, throw the color. You have to destroy them, burn them, and again get rid of them. Since the person went and violated an interest through them, then come a time, something that goes ahead and brings the person from Darkei Kayim to Darkei Misa, from the ways of life to the ways of death. Of course, this animal is put to death, just like a tree. So therefore, what we should be saying is, Takala is enough, Kala is not necessary. In other words, there isn't as much shame when it comes to Avodah Zarah. That isn't there. In other words, there's no human dignity aspect of Avodah Zarah. And therefore, you want to say that Takala can be sufficient. Why? We see when it comes to a tree that was used for Avodah Zarah, we get rid of the tree, same thing for the tree when it comes to the animal, but by way of the animal, taking the person to the ways of life and the ways of death, you should go ahead and destroy the animal, even with takala alone, just with the stumbling block alone. Tell me, after, I'll tell you the truth, I want to look into this because I don't really understand the logic behind this. In other words, what is the fact that a tree doesn't eat, doesn't drink, and doesn't smell have to do with the fact that the animal brought a person from Darkei Kayim to Darkei Misa. In other words, it doesn't sound like, it's not symmetrical. Right? It doesn't sound like a symmetrical, logical drink. It does smell. But why is that the relevant point? I must just be missing something here tomorrow. You'll have to excuse me, but I just didn't see that you're trying to write on the page address it. I didn't really understand why that is the way we do it. In other words, like you just said. Now, when it comes to an animal, maybe that's the point. When it comes to an animal, the animal is Balchai. It's a Balchai. It enjoys life. And so you take away the life from the Balchai. Why? Because of the stumbling block that came along with it. So a tree, the word doesn't say that though. The word doesn't say a tree doesn't smell, it doesn't eat, it doesn't drink, it doesn't enjoy life. I don't know. Maybe that's what the Gemara meant. The tree doesn't enjoy life. The animal does enjoy, maybe that's what the Gemara meant. The animal does enjoy life. And I don't know. I don't really think so. You'll have to excuse me on that one. Am I missing something? I don't know. I don't think so. Okay, let's just move on. Your opinion is that the kala, stumbling block alone, is enough. When it comes to Avodah Zarah, on the staff of the Beheptai, person who bows down to this animal, Titzar, is to become Asur, who Mikdalah, to be killed. That's not the halacha. You don't have to kill an animal. The person bows down to it. But again, according to your logic, you should. The Gemara says, "Mi'ika midi the strong like Asur over." This just can't be, because it can't be a situation where the Torah gives more strict halachos to an akum than it does to Yisrael. Yisrael has the highest level of opportunity, the highest level of responsibility. Those two things come together. The responsibilities of Yisrael are the highest order. Can't be the responsibilities of an akum are going to be more. Works in the right. No problem. Yisrael group is litter. Why do we see also for Yisrael as well? In other words, let's just think about this. Why is this? In other words, we put an animal to death for engaging this type of behavior with a person. So why do we put an animal to death when a person bows down to it? A person violated a person's honor. By way of this animal. The Gemara said, listen, we didn't have Rabbi. Do the same thing. Rabbi, Zek Kolona Meruba, Zek Kolona Meruba. The Rabbi says clearly he's not going right with Rishas, but he's telling you that yes, the shame does play a role with it. When it comes to a person's relationship with the animal, yes, a person is going to be embarrassed. It's terribly embarrassing for people to be put to death because they engage in bestiality. In other words, even if there's a culture that would do it, the whole idea behind it is embarrassing. And there's a lot of shame that comes along with it. But so now that's what terrible as it is, doesn't come along with the same kind of really big type of shame. Well, I says, hold on, already a lot of things for them to be done. Let's get back to our tree example. It's not a lot of shame when it comes to down to a tree. Still, the Torah house gets straight to Kalei. Yes, destroy this tree. Martha says, Balakayim Kaminon, that's only when it comes to Balakayim, to live trees, that's what we say it. Why the cost of Balakayim? We find the Torah dictates tremendous precautions when it came to livestock, to animals. If a basin wants to put animals to death, needs to have a basin of 23 to do that. You see, the Torah is very concerned about an animal, not when it however, when it comes to trees, you do not need to continue the basis of 23 when you decide to cut down a tree. Rabbi disagrees, and he says, maybe Allah is like illustrations. Amar Torah, Behema Nenis Me'avera Tihare. You know why when it comes to the animal being killed, he put it to death? It's because the Behema, he was Nenis from the Avera. The animal actually enjoyed it, therefore it's going to be killed. Hold on, versus Bahrain Lana, ain't ending the Avera. So you can go back to this example. The tree does not enjoy when a person bows down to it. Doesn't have an ego. Oh wow, this guy came down to me. Doesn't happen. Amar Torah, I'll get to Kalei. So now Rabbi explained the Barakayim coming in the Pasuk of When it comes to Barakayim, you can't compare large things to trees. Now the Gemara wants to try to bring the raya to a case. In other words, when it comes to Na'alacha, our Mishnah told us that there's Kalei with shame, and there's the fact that it was a stumbling block. Which one? Do you need both, or is one of them sufficient? Tashema, look at our Mishnah. The Ra'aka Shlo, Tehema Overes Bashuk. You don't want to have an animal walking through the marketplace. The Yomer people are going to say, Jewish Nisploni al Yada. This is okay. This is the animal that the person died because of that. Now, my love. Now, let's try to think about this. You just say for the top of the hand base. You just say for Takala, the end of the Mishnah was the case where there was Takala and Kala. Again, it's talking about a person being shamed by this. And of course, there's a Takala person engaged in this kind of behavior. Is it? Ratio. In other words, what's the second line adding? It must be the second line was adding, and you know why it's right? Because there's shame, and it was a stumbling block. Ratio at the beginning, what was it missing? It's Takala Takala. That reason was sufficient. The fact that it was a Takala stumbling block and not shameful, and still he put the animal to death. You think that an open and shut line with this that tells you that Takala being a stumbling block for years. Enough to put the animal to death, it does not need to come along with the thought process of shame. Now, the answer comes, what would be the case where there is Takala without shame, or there could tell them about the Hema, a case of an Akram, who engaged in this relationship with an animal. For some reason, he might not be as a shame of it. In that case, he's going to have Takala, of course he is.
Sad, but I think he's
just
drunk.
He's going to have Takala.
Some people drink on
without,
podcasts.
Takala without color.
Podcasts because it's like they want to get loose and they think that they need to drink.
You are so right. That's incorrect. Same fun, Takala with color. The same fun, of course, we know there's a stumbling block there. That's the reason why I put this out. And color. Because the shame is also the reason why I put this out. Rachel Hashkamashko. Rachel teaches me to follow the halacha. Now, feel color, below Takala, not in the Kayan. Teaching us even if there's shame without there being a stumbling block, in that case, is really tight. How do you find the case where a person has a relationship with an animal? And there is
personally think is stupid.
Shame. But no, Sakala, no. Beira, Yisrael, Habal, Beira, B'Shogeg. Yisrael engaged in type of relationship with an animal B'Shogeg. He didn't know it was Nasser. He didn't bother tearing up the Daf Yomi. He did not know it was Shul. He laid that week Parsha. He did not know that it was Usher. In such a case, the Sakala is not really there because it was a Shogeg. The Sakala on the shame, of course, is terrible. The Beira of Nuna, and the word now compared to the question. Nuna asked the Beira of Nuna. Nuna asked the following question: Yisrael, Habba, al Behema, B'Shogeg. Now, what's halacha? Yisrael engages with an animal by mistake. What's halacha? Do you need Sakala, the Kala, be doing this, close like the stumbling block, and then it's shameful. Well, Sakala, Ika, there's definitely shame that comes wrong with it. Sakala, Reka, but with the Shogeg, you therefore doesn't get the Kala Beira of David. Or Dilma, maybe, Kala, Al-Basi, shame that Kala. Maybe the shame is enough to fully put the animal to death. Although you have to talk about, it's trying to bring the riot. You want to go through two cases. There's a lot. Not such one guys, just but it gets you a bunch of cases just to show this point. The work is the following. Pastor, son of Yom Echad, I want to be very clear about this. I mentioned this yesterday, mentioned it again. We're talking here about the halachic nature of what we consider to be a halachic bia. In any case, this is
Call the doctor. This is ambulance.
this is still going to be a bia. The question is whether halachically it comes along with the consequences that come along with the halachic bia. In other words, there's the action of bia, and then there are the halachic consequences that come along with the bia. The Lord is explaining when a number of examples of the halachic consequences of a bia when it comes to children. About Shalom son of Yom Echad, a girl who is 3 years and 1 day. Mitzvah, that's just Tavia. If her father marries her off, and they get married with Bia, that Bia is considered to be a halachic Bia. Now she is married. Then Bola Yava is her brother-in-law, who died. If she fell to Yiva, and her brother-in-law performed the Levite marriage on her, then the Yiva works. That was Bola Yava, her Yava brother-in-law, was born her Kana. She's now married. The Chayav land of Summation says if she's married and she is at this age engaged with another person, there's a few of the basis is. When the Tama is Boila, so she happens to be a Nida, technically she's hospitalized for a child, then the Tama is Boila. The Tama is Kutapta Kiayim, rather than getting to help us come over here, but this Kutapta Kiayim is basically even if there's no Gia, but the tool will go to a very high level of Tuma. And again, if the person engages in being with her, while she is a Nida, and the person becomes Tame as well, Nisis the Kohen, if she gets married to a Kohen, Okela to Truma, she gets married by way of Bia, but yes, she gets to Truma, if someone who is Pasul, who she's not allowed to be married to, engages with her at this age, Pasul and Kahuna, becomes disqualified for marrying the Kohen, then Bola, after the Bola, the Torah, is one of the forbidden. Engaging with her, then, or any other riots, then Mumashina Yada, that type of Bia with her would be considered to be a lot of Bia, and because of death of that.
This is athleticism.
She's Petula. She's exempt, obviously, because she's a child. After the Kola
You
riots,
travel a lot.
no one go back to this. It says, who engaged with her after the Kola riots with her?
I go to the bathroom 12 times a day.
With her. One time, roughly with her.
Really?
Look at this case. The Kola Ika, her terrible shame. She's a child, gets to grow up. Knowing that she engages in this kind of relationship with an animal, the Kola Ika, she's a child. She's a child, and therefore there's no Takala. Now, there isn't there. So you see very clearly that when the shame of the Kola, that's the
Look at this one.
all of the riots we put to death by way of this kind of relationship. So if there's an animal relationship with her, and she's a child, so in this case it's clear there's no Takala. She didn't do it, she's a child.
Yo, dog. This motherfucker is so sick.
You seem to see very clearly you don't need to have both reasons Takala. This is a stumbling block. And being shameful is enough. Because in this case there's no there. The Gemara says no. Misunderstood this. Kiva de Mezidahi. This is the case where she did it intentionally. So she knew what she was doing. That's the Kohen, not the Ika. This is the Kohen. Now why?
I'm a dancing queen.
Who the fuck's on that? The song I don't play
Maybe I'm the
each child is losing to do. Even if you did this on purpose,
maybe
the children or asking the children that you have to be punished for it. But again, because it is a takala, and yes, she did do an avera, will she be punished? She wants to be punished. Okay. Allah dizachas abehema lochas. Where does the Rahmanas go? How far does the mercy of the Torah go? It goes to a person, but not to a behema. We're going to go to one more case, a similar case. Talks about in the raya whether or not you have to have takala and kala or is kala enough. You have to have a stumbling block and the shame or is the shame enough, but the shame alone enough. Talks about then Tesha showed you what the parallel verse when it comes to a male. So he's 9 years old in one day. Habal Yavimto. He goes and engages in a relationship with his Baba. So if his brother died, left behind a sister and have children, and he goes ahead and pull out his sister-in-law, he's come to her and they're married. The ain't no saying get out to Yagil. He can't divorce her until he gets older, but he's not old enough to be able to write again. If he engages in a relationship with a Nida, he becomes Tameh with Mr. Taplik Elyo. Wholesale, he passes someone to Karuna with an inappropriate relationship in a Mafia. If he engages, if he's a Kohen, he cannot go ahead and allow the girl to be Shuma. Wholesale, behaving a God in his bath. If he engages in this kind of relationship with an animal, he just qualifies for being born on top of his bath. When it's Kalas, and there will be skill up by way of this type of relationship. Now again, this male, 9 years in one day, is intimate with any of our rights with our son of the Torah. The Masana Yodo, they shall be put to death by way of this type of relationship. And clearly, the Alpha in this case, Kalo Ikon, you're safe to Kalo Lefna, there's no stumbling block once it is a child. Nevertheless, this is not this Kelas Yodo. The person will get Sila by way of this case. So again, the same exact thing. Parallel case. Here we have a child. We can't consider to be a takala because he's a child. Nevertheless, he's terrible. Shame to come along with it. And what does it say? The animal said it's a death. You see to the riot irritation that says that if the simple shame alone, that would be enough to put the animal to death. Whereas there's no St. Terence, Kiva Devashu. Since this child who did this on purpose was intentional, takala not ika. Yes, it was a takala. This child did not avera. Rahmana hu dechasa l'ulei. The Torah had qualified by saying this is a child, doesn't know what he's doing, they're not going to punish him with capital punishment. Now, we that mercy go. Chas Rahmana. Sorry, the mercy only goes so far as the person, but not the animal. See, we don't have enough time left, but this is a major sugya in the halachas of Kedem. Because what we said over here is not possible. That was the idea that it's considered to be an avera for a child, but he's not going to be punished. This is something to a big discussion. How do we view children under the age of mitzvah when it comes to mitzvahs and averas? Is it just a separate mitzvah of Kedem, or, which is really essentially incumbent on the father, or is the children actually obligated to those mitzvahs? Can't get into that whole discussion. But still, let's go through it. In this case, it seems like our Gemara is at least saying that there's a takala, there is an avera when it comes to the punishment is not imposed. Tashma, Dover Acher, go back to our Mishnah. Shalom to him, the name of our Pashok. The Yogro Zuish was God, the Yisrael Gloria Yoda. Our business, the reason we put the animal to death when it's the subject of bestiality is because we don't want this animal roaming the streets. People point to it saying, oh, the animal, that's ours, but it's killed, we're engaging it. My law, again, the same we earlier. Be the same that to call the color, since the second line of the Mishnah only is adding the fact that it's a stumbling block and shameful, raise the color, raise the color. The beginning is a case where it's shame with no actual avera. Basically, once that case, Yisrael bought the the showcase. If the Yisrael engages with the animal, by mistake, he doesn't know it's us. Versus right, incorrect. Safe with the color, the racial the color. The safe was talking about a case of the color obvious. If you did an avera, so it was a stumbling block, the color is embarrassing. The racial is talking about a case with the color, when it was an avera, below color, there's no shame. Basically, what's the case with an avera? and there's no shame. What's that? Over to cover up all the Behema. It's over to cover who engaged in this relationship with Behema. This over to cover, this idolater is not ashamed of it, and perhaps even if there is some element of shame, perhaps the Torah is not as concerned about the shame of an idolater, and therefore we're not going to have a raya who can involve in irritations. We're still going to have the same question for irritations. The Gemara was not able to resolve.
That's just like a salt of the earth job, just like a hardworking construction worker type job. Yeah. He'll be like, oh, I would rather them do that. Yeah. Whatever, I guess was he talking about slap boxing?
Good morning, good morning.
He's talking about the new power slapping.
Today's daf is Sanhedrin daf Nun Hey. We're going to pick up on Menzalit Amid Beis, surrounding ourselves with the Gemara we learned yesterday, over to the Gemara. We begin today by thanking our sponsors. We thank our annual Torah sponsors, the Tilson family of Eretz Yisrael, for sponsoring all the shiur and all the drashas of 5785. The source of the shiur service for all of Klal Yisrael. We also thank our weekly running sponsors. We thank Beryl and a Falcon for sponsoring all the shiur this week. The commemoration of Beryl's grandfather's yahrzeit, Beryl Ben Chaim, whose yahrzeit was yesterday in Yidal Shra. We also thank the sponsor for the Yomi shiur today, Adam Plunker, for sponsoring the Yomi in memory of Harry Plunker, Yachmiel, Hirsch, Ben Yisrael, Kassan, and having Aliyah. We also thank Yona Opens It for sponsoring Daf Yomi today for a zechus for a floor shleima for Yossi Opens It. Yossi Nissen Ben Yafa Shendel Gittel, who's having back surgery today. Yossi should have a full speedy recovery, painfully, in fact, taking out the garbage speedily in our days. And on a serious note, Yossi, we wish you a full shalema, hopefully the surgery as well. But we also thank our Zafyomi sponsorship. Wishing tremendous mazel tov to Rabbi Dr. Rifkin, the birthday baby boy. Thank you so much for the sponsorship. Yes, we'd like to see a tremendous support for my wife. She went to the birth yesterday. Our family is thrilled to welcome another boy to the Richter family. Mr. Sam, we look forward to celebrating with you. Charles also this week. We have the first coming up, and look forward to bringing Nachas to Klal Yisrael. And there's Hashem should do Nachas to his parents as well.
Well thought out agreement.
Yesterday, someone told me that I was out of line. I was wearing my jacket during the Daf Yomi year. Sorry. That's the only thing I was out of line for yesterday. I'll take it. Yesterday we ended up with Gemara with a machlokas all the way at the bottom of the Yamud between Rav and Shmuel about when you have a Zachar who is the recipient of Mishka Zachar, does it follow the halachas of Mishka Isha, or does it follow the halachas of Shochev of a Zachar? The girl is only considered to be a bia from above the age of 3. When it comes to a boy, the bia is only considered to be a bia when the boy is boel somebody only from the age of 9. So when the boy is the recipient, does his action follow the action of being the mishkav, where he would have to be 9 years old, or does the action follow the halachas of mishkavei isha, because mishkavei isha what's within the age of 3? In other words, does the act of acting like the woman make that the Zachar has the halacha of a woman, or does the Zachar always follow the halacha of the Zachar, and therefore he would have to be 9 years old, regardless of which position he would be playing? But the Gemara says, Tanya Kabasei Rav, the Gemara wants to bring up a raya to Rav. Zachar, the way to read this is Zachar. The way to read this is Zachor. In other words, we're referring to, as we mentioned yesterday, Rashi told us, whenever it says Zachor, referring to the act of the Zachar being in the position of the Mishkavei Isha, the halacha is that Keish Hashanim B'Yom Echad, from 9 years and 1 day. Now, you typically would read this as a continuing sentence, but Rashi tells us we should read it mili katani. So that's one case. You have one case which is Zachar ben Tesha son of Yom Echad, or Haba al Behema ben Kedarta ben Kishlot. A person has a relationship with the animal, whether the relationship with the animal is in a normal way or an abnormal way. And the woman who brings the animal upon her, again, whether it's the normal way of bia or it's not the normal way of bia, the halacha is shayi. What do you see over here? Like Rav, when it comes to Zafar, it is still going to be age of 9, not from the age of Steph. You see that the Gemara is right. Now the Gemara goes on a little bit further. I'm going to use this price that we just mentioned to disprove another shita. Now the Gemara says, Darash of Nachman Bar Krista. Nachman Bar Krista made the following drush. The Isha, it says, Shnei Mishkavas. The Behema, Mishkavas, by Isha, it says Mishkavei Isha, which is a plural. And when it comes to a Behema, it says Mishkavas. Following question. Adrabah, using logic, that doesn't make sense. Isha, the Orcha, a woman who it's normal for a person to engage in intimacy with her, we should say, a mishkav l'chayiv, a midah machmina loy l'chayiv. On the normal way of being intimate with a woman, the person has that kind of intimacy in a way that's going to be usher. In such a case, would be forbidden. Behema, the whole thing is not normal. There's no such thing as a normal way of being intimate with an animal. So if a person is going to go ahead and do that, then l'chayiv law, I'll connect you with any type of intercourse with this animal. In other words, the whole idea of saying, oh yeah, a person could be intimate with an animal, kidar, in the normal way. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. It's not normal, the whole thing is not normal. Now the way Rashi explains this is, when it comes to the Isha, there's an element of hana over there on the recipient. So again, it comes to an issue to a woman, there's a normal way of a woman enjoying intimacy. So that would be kedarka, or not be shalom kedarka. However, when it comes to an animal, the whole idea is this person who's engaging in this animal, this behavior with this animal. Now, what's the difference if from the animal side it's going to be what a woman would consider to be normal? Again, the whole thing from the human perspective is not normal. So therefore, it's making difference. The normal way of being intimate, the abnormal way of being intimate, doesn't make any sense. Therefore, a Papa says it should really be the opposite. Now, the truth.
Why were you stressed?
Yeah, I've been awake for like a long time. Like I'm not sleeping properly. I'm trying to grind, like I said. Give me the lot thing, so I'm trying to give my 100% because I know what I want to achieve, right? And things like that. So
Okay, so you uploaded a YouTube video. What was the description?
the description that I sent to bro.
Did you send me another video?
No. The reason why I called back was because I want, since now you said what to interpret, I don't really understand. So I want you to like give me just exactly what you want me to write. Like just tell me Baba to like word for word so that I can just like so that you give me the desired outcome.
I understand. You ask Grok that, and Grok will optimize it for you. So you say, Grok.
Sorry?
You ask Grok, what's the best description for this video for YouTube, for selling clothes?
Okay.
And then also put in there, give me hashtags as well.
Okay. What's the description for this video if I'm selling clothes?
Exactly, with hashtags. And it'll say something like,
Okay.
cool north-south shirts, hashtag cool, hashtag fashion, hashtag luxury. Okay, so that's the title. Then you also want to put a description, which is longer, which would be like, North-South is the best brand that you could ever want. It's comfortable, it's classic, it's classy. Get North-South at your nearest retailer, or whatever it's going to say. Okay?
All right. I'll do that.
Hold on though. You don't want to have your video use that word, the I word, IDIOT. You don't want to have it use that word. That's a negative word in a lot of places. So if you ever hear that word, stay away from it. Okay, so take down the video that you have up, put up a new video with a description, with a title, with hashtags, and then send it back to me. Okay?
All right, no problem.
If I'm asleep, then I'll look at it in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, no problem.
And
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Wait, before you go, and when you get a crypto wallet, make sure to write down your passphrase. Make sure to back up your
I've
phone.
done that already. So
Did you write down your passphrase?
I've done all that.
Did you write down your passphrase?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so if your phone broke today, you would have access to your passphrase, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Did you back up your phone?
Yes, I've done. I did that. I left my phone to come home overnight.
You did that today? Or yesterday?
Yes.
Good job, man. Good job.
Yeah,
Excellent.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Like I said, I have things I want to achieve, so I'm really happy about this, and I want to achieve whatever I want to achieve. I have so many plans for my brand.
Baby,
If you can even check, there's someone that wants to check. He's my mentor. There's someone else. His name is Chris 419. That would be the idea of what I want my brand to be in the future. So if you can just check it and just see, just see the kind of I want to say let me say the kind of dream I have. Let me put it that way.
all right, well, send me anything you want. I'll look at it when I have time.
Okay, no problem.
Excellent, my friend. All right, so send me that new video. Once it's good,
Okay.
we're going to do all of them on YouTube, and then you're going to do them on all the different platforms, okay?
9 of the remaining 9, that's 10 videos.
That's right. That's right. You got it, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Excellent, my friend.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome, my friend.
Some of the evidence, as far as I was concerned, as the circumstances. Radio app, number one for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one app. My name is Dale Consistency. I volunteer with United Way to help the homeless in my community with computer skills and daily basic respect. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it. Give, advocate, volunteer, live United. Go to liveunited.org. Watch United Way and head council. Find you at iHeartRadio everywhere. There are hundreds of ways to experience iHeartRadio at home and on the go beyond the iPhone and Android app at iHeartRadio.com. Here's another way to connect to iHeartRadio. Just ask Google Assistant for your favorite radio stations, and iHeartRadio will be there for you on Google Home, Google Mini Nest Hub, Nest Mini, Android TV, and any device that uses your Google Assistant. The convenience of playing all your favorites hands-free. Just say, "Okay, Google, play to your favorite AM FM stations from iHeartRadio." iHeartRadio, everywhere you want to listen, including in your home and office through your Google Home, Google Nest Hub Mini, Nest Mini, Android TV, and any device that is Google Assistant powered. Check it out for free now. iHeartRadio, anywhere you want to listen, iHeartRadio is there. iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. We all love a good jailbreak. The elaborate schemes, the tough calls, the moment when it all goes wrong. Oh my God, did you listen? And it's finally taking place. Thank God we lived to tell the tale. I gotta confess, man, I'm lucky enough to do stuff like Broad City and Narcos and Roadhouse and so many commercials about that thing. And now I'm starting a podcast because honestly, guys, I don't call this business crowded enough. Get ready for Greatest Escapes, a new comedy podcast about the wildest true escape stories in history. Every local story. Each week I'll be sitting down with some of the most hilarious actors and writers and comedians. People like Ed Helms. I drive up and he's just like, Diane Riddle. And she goes, "You're on your own, I have to run." And Jessica Williams. I love storytelling and I love you, so I can't wait. Together we're going to puzzle our way through the most buck wild true escape stories of all time. Like, what should you do? Maybe write a musical. I would hide under the desk. Or tie a rope around the fishy snake and use it to like water ski across the road. So we'd love for you to come hang with us for some of the greatest escapes in history. This is Jim. Robert goes inside. I love the show. To replay the show from left to right, anytime that the show archives. All of the guests are very informative and super entertaining. Siren will become a host of Siren today. We'll be glad you did. Be sure we're a couple ways to sign up on our website. It's coasttocoaststate.com. I don't think I'm going to Insider. Click that and you're in. Otherwise, go to your store or your house. Go to the Coast to Coast AM app. It's free. Turn it up your phone. Recent research is showing low testosterone is affecting a larger portion of men and women at all ages, addressing hormone balance, including health. Testosterone is crucial for maintaining and health. Georgia's 13% 100% natural fast absorbing these results. Naturally, as we know, body produces testosterone on its own. Georgia's supertanes.
Now what is this? This, it's a good itch. This. This athleticism is
Oh, dog, I feel like
finest.
Theo made the right call. Oh, yeah. Seems much happier. Could have made it earlier if you asked me.
The truth is, it doesn't really mean. You look at Tosfos. He says,
Yeah.
"Adarabba Isha Deborcha." He says, "Hapshita bekula shas." It's obviously all of shas. The Isha Miskayev Ashnei Mishkabos. Why the Mishka Isha exists? In other words, the truth is, Rabbi is not really trying to tell you that a person is going to be intimate with the woman to whom it is usher to be intimate with. He's going to be intimate with her in what we call Biyash Lokadarka, an abnormal way that we would not be telling. In other words, the Gemara is not trying to say that. That because there are psukim and there are mishnayos that say he is chayiv. The Papa can't argue on that. Rather, his point is El Papa Haki Kamar. This is what Papa meant to say. In Yesh Lachalik, with the Hema, if you would like to differentiate between an animal and a woman, if your logic would have dictated the other way around. In other words, not that he's saying that the halacha would be the opposite. But again, if he's going to use logic to go ahead and determine which way would be chayiv, which would not be chayiv, then the opposite should be true. That by an isha, it should only be the normal way of being intimate. But by animals, since the whole thing is absurd, so therefore there's no such thing as a normal way of being intimate. Thank you for giving me coffee. The Gemara says, however, as much as the logic would make sense, the problem is, Tanya, we learned in the Brisa, Zachar, as we just mentioned, says, if he's 9 years in one day, Habal Behema, or someone who has a relationship with an animal, is very clearly, Darka, Shalokadarka, makes no difference if it's the normal way or the abnormal way. Again, anatomically, the normal way or the abnormal way. Isha, halacha is, regardless of what you would have thought, regardless of what the logic would have dictated, halacha is still going to be the same. That in any way,
What up, big dog?
with a woman or with an animal,
Kicking ass, taking names, baby. Every day's a holiday, every meal's a feast. How are things in your neck of the woods?
Say what?
How are you? I did not get anything new from you on Twitter. Are you sure you said something?
Yeah, I sent you the new picture of what I edited.
Yeah, and I responded already. It says, good job. Make the P in Pilly in the bottom circle capital, please.
Hold on, I've done that. Let me send another one to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it'll be.
Did you send it yet, Pilly?
Yeah, check it out. I sent it again. Okay, hold on. Okay, sent.
No, dog. Read what my message said.
You asked me to change the small letter to capital letter.
Stop.
As you
Stop,
know,
stop, stop. Pilly, stop.
I'm
Okay, read what my message said. The one that says good job.
okay. I can't find your message. Send me another message.
No, you can find my message. Go to my direct messages with you. You just sent me a message.
Yes.
Right?
Give me a sec.
Take your time.
Rabbi,
Yes, sir.
can you copy the last message I reported to me?
I will, but why can't you read it?
I only saw the message I sent to you. I never seen what you sent.
Okay. What's the last message that you see that I sent you?
Hold on, let me check it out. The last message was top line Philly 419, bottom line link3.com Philly 7. That's the last message you sent to me.
Okay, that's not the last message I sent you. Okay, but that's fine. Okay, read your messages now. What does it say?
Okay. It said good job. Hold on. It said good job. Make the P in the Philly in the bottom circle capital. Please. Good job. Okay, yeah. Okay, I get it.
So,
I'll work on it right now.
excellent. So it should say linktree.com/capital PILLY 007.
No problem. Thank
Oh,
you very much.
you're welcome. Hold on. And then, because I'm gonna probably be asleep when it's done, I'll give you the next thing that you're gonna want to do. Did you download the Grok app?
All right.
Do you have? Hold on. Do you have the Grok app downloaded?
Okay. I will.
Okay. And then what I want you to do, I'm gonna send you gonna send you an example. Don't make your YouTube account. Don't upload anything to YouTube. But just before you go, okay, go look at the link I just sent you from someone named Durago. Look at his YouTube,
Okay.
and I want you to make videos like Durago using Grok.
Okay.
So take a look at it, watch them. They're like 10 seconds each.
Just send me the name of the app and the description on our.
Baby. I'm telling you, it's Grok. Grok.
Okay, on X.
No, it's another app. Yeah, download Grok, and then look at the YouTube video. Look at the YouTube account I just sent you.
All right, I'll work on that.
No, don't work on it. Just look at it right now, and then tell me that you understand what you're to do. If not, I'll clarify.
All right. I'll check it out.
Okay.
Bye.
No, don't go. Stay here.
I just.
What'd you say, big man? Haley, what'd you say? Haley. Hold on. Repeat yourself. What'd you say, big man? You're cutting out. Repeat yourself.
I said I watched the AI video and I noticed that it was largely created by Sora the Sun, an AI platform.
Yeah, that's okay. You can do it with Grok.
Okay, that'll be fine.
Check out these North-South shirts. Perfect style for any event.
Okay, so you know what to do. You're going to make 10 of them. You make 10 of them, and you send them to me, and I'll tell you which ones to use. Okay?
Exactly like that AI video, right?
Not exactly. Make it whatever you want. You could say,
Okay, no problem.
you could say, make it on a beach, make it in the future, make it on a spaceship, whatever you want.
Okay, I'll get back. Should I subscribe to that YouTube channel?
If you want, yeah.
Alright, no problem. Thank you very much. I'll get back to you.
You're welcome, my friend. Tell Grok to make a better title and description for it.
Check out these North-South shirts. Perfect style for any event.
You did not put a description, period. I said ask Grok to put a description with hashtags, period.
of being a 58-year-old single stand-up comedian with no romantic prospects on the horizon. They all dream of it, but Sarah did it.
Yo, how are you?
Rabbi,
What up?
if World War III starts because Putin has a photo of Donald Trump blowing Bill Clinton, I'm sorry, but that is the funniest way to start World War III. I'm not for war. That is a funny way to go to war.
No, dude.
Did you say the email?
Yep.
Check out North South. It's true. Rabbi,
Yes, sir.
do you think there's like something humorous about the situation? The sadder it is.
No, I don't think it's humorous at all.
I'm look.
Check out North South.
If it doesn't exist, and there is a photo of Trump blowing Bill Clinton, that's kind of funny.
I think it's sad.
You think it's sad?
Yeah.
Well, global praise stuff for that photo. I am going to be disappointed, but it's going to be funny. It's funny place in history.
Zoot, are you ready to lose?
No, I'll be home later.
Okay, but I'll be asleep.
I'm going out.
What are you gonna do, Zoot? All right, Zoot. Sounds good. Yo. Yo, what are you saying?
When I post the video, I used to write what is the description for the video I'm selling this North South apparel and provide hashtags too.
Okay, and what's it saying?
So that's the last video that I just sent you another link. I don't know if you checked the recent one apart from the one that.
Dog, I keep checking. It says no description, and it just says no.